first.
Every damn time. Every damn time. You know what's a good thing is I can have a beer for every time that I do that here tonight. Every time I do that. Thanks to our sponsor, Biscayne Bay Brewing. We'll be drinking a slightly different beer, though, tonight because we've got a watch party. I'll be telling you more about that as we go forward. Of course, Biscayne Bay Brew is the official craft beer of the Five Reasons Sports Network. You can find it at Marlins games, of course, and also at Heat games. They've got the kiosk, Tropical Bay IPA, the Pastime Pilsner, the Marlins Lager, and all of their other great beers are also available at many Publixes all across Florida, not just South Florida. We found out half of the network actually lives in Orlando. Jonathan, you can get it up there. We found out Tony Schwartz can get it up there too. So you can get Biscayne Bay Brewing pretty much all over the state. Ask for it at restaurants by name as well. I got plenty of Tropical Bay IPA in the fridge right now if anybody wants to come over and rate it. I'm not home tonight. But thanks again to Biscayne Bay Brewing for sponsoring us. Thanks always to Mark Brown, PA, for sponsoring us as well. That's marcbrownpa.com. That's where you want to go if you need estate planning or you're closing on your house. You need somebody competent to take care of it. You never know what's going to be on the other side. Mark is calm. He's careful. He really, really does a great job, as does Kelsey and everybody else on that staff there. They're right up there in North Lauderdale, a little bit south of where I am right now. They're over off Andrews and Cypress Creek. I always say close to the Hooters. It's the only landmark in that area other than my old high school. MarkBrownPA.com, MarcBrownPA.com. That's where you want to go. There's the phone number, 954. Thank you, Alejandro. I always appreciate that. 954-566-5678. Reach out to Mark, big Miami sports fan as well. Not sure you want to talk to him about the Dolphins today. All right, we are talking about the Heat. We've got Heat, Mavericks. Here's the crew up in Orlando, I'm assuming. Jonathan Ramlicon, he's in his special chair in the middle. You're not in Orlando? Where are you?
I mean,
I don't even
30 minutes east of Orlando. I'm right. I'm 20 minutes east of Orlando. I'm right there.
Nothing near Orlando that's not in Orlando counts. We got Brady, who I know is in South Florida here. You can follow him at Brady Hawk 305. Of course, you can follow Jonathan at 3-Piece Combo. We've got Ricky J. Mark, who I actually spent some time with this morning on the starting nine. Make sure you check out that appearance. That one's rolling on the YouTube channel. Check that one out this morning. Alejandro, our producer, in the middle. And, of course, our friend Greg Sylvander, who will be on 5 on the floor tonight. We just haven't figured out exactly how we're going to do that. I am at Dangerous Minds. I just want to show you where I am. If anybody wants to join us tonight, we're not getting blamed if they lose. We're at Dangerous Minds Brewing Company. It's right here. See, the great thing about Broward County is there's a lot of parking. There's a lot of parking. So if you can make it out of South Florida tonight, out of Miami, I know the weather is bad. Come out and join us. It's over on Copans and Federal, right on the corner. It's next to, is that a Lowe's or a Home Depot? I can never tell the difference. It's next to a Lowe's. So it's
Doesn't
right
matter.
next to
They're not paying.
Well, that's a good point. It's next to some shop where you can buy stuff for your house. But we're gonna be here. We're gonna have some beer specials. Got some $4 beer specials, and also I'm just about to order some pizzas. Okay, and I don't splurge for a lot. I'm throwing some out here tonight. So we're gonna have some pizza, and I've got some hats and all kinds of other cool stuff. It's our first watch party of the season. Our second watch party is gonna be at Quarterdeck in Sunrise, the one near the Panthers Arena. That is next Monday. So come join. I think Austin's going to be out here. Alfredo's going to be out here. I'm going to be out here. And a few others for the Five Reasons Sports Network. All right, let's get to it. Brady, as usual, give us the update. Who's playing, who's not?
Yeah, Bam, that was the question. Bam's going to be available tonight, which is actually pretty huge because Dallas is not having a lot of their front court. And guys like Porzingis, I think the other one was Maxi Kleber that's not playing. Like, they have a lot of guys that are not playing that you need that front court depth. So those are the guys that everybody else is playing for Miami. Obviously, Max Strus is the other guy. It's not out. And I'd expect probably Caleb Martin to use another one of the 50 games that he has for the season and probably plug right in.
Sorry, you mentioned Strus. The news, for those who didn't get it, was pretty good, actually, all things considered. When you saw the way he came down the other day, even he said he's looking at a couple of weeks. We know with the Heat, sometimes that's a little bit longer. But even worst case scenario, if it's 3 to 4 weeks, that's not the season. That looked like the season. It's also happened to be the same leg that he's injured before. So that's a positive to a degree. Jonathan, I'll go to you next. Obviously, Dallas has, one ridiculously good player. I'm not really sure about the rest of the roster, though. They don't have Porzingis tonight. Who guards Luka?
I think you probably start off with Jimmy on him. Maybe you might not want to start off with him so early on there. With the top defensive or the top player on that team. But I think you either put Jimmy on them or you put you put Kyle on them, and then you can switch as everything goes. I mean, that's the way our defense works, anyways. With, like you said, there's not really anybody else that you have to worry about on the Dallas Mavericks team, maybe outside of Tim Hardaway Jr., who had 10 threes the last time he played against us. But it's pretty much going to be where we see Coach Spoelstra cut off the head of the snake, where he did like with Trae Young when we played the Hawks. We're going to see that pretty similar tonight, where we just stifle Luka, we stuff him, and then we kind of make everybody else beat us when we know there's not really much talent left there. So I think it's going to be more of a team effort there.
Greg, did you notice the games that Morant and LaMelo Ball had yesterday when they got out from the clutches of the Heat defense? Both of those guys, I think
they look great.
Right. We were seriously panicked about both of those guys, right? Before they played the Heat. They both had subpar games. LaMelo especially, I know that he was a little under the weather. And then LaMelo, but, he suddenly went off 2 days later, in the next game. And Ja went off too. So I guess that would lead you to believe, okay, you play Lowry on him, right? You do what you've been doing. Except this guy is not 6'3" or 6'4". This guy is 6'8", 6'9", right? So it's a little bit of a different challenge.
No, that's true. And Luka is, to me, I think Jimmy will end up on him at some point, but initially, I think that they shouldn't overthink it. Kyle, it's perfectly fine. The Dallas is 28th in the league in scoring, so the rest of the team is not going to hurt you. So it's really going to come down to just limiting Luka as much as possible. So that it's going to be a team effort, like Jonathan said, but I'm all about put Duncan on him to start the game. I mean, like I would say make the other guys beat you. Tim Hardaway Jr. beat the hell out of the Heat last year, and I don't think it happens again this year.
Ricky, could you play PJ on him a little bit too? Be physical with him?
Shout out to that Florida kid in the comments. I was actually going to say PJ because he's not going to stop. He's not going to stop. PJ will go at him. He will bully him. And if you look at the way this Mavs team is set up, this is basically Cleveland LeBron the first 4 seasons of his career. He is not going to beat this Miami team by himself. No way. No.
And I'm with you. I actually think we'll see a little bit of PJ on him in this game. I think they do try to get physical with him. Let's talk about Bam now on the other side of this thing. That they escape with a victory without Bam on the road against a good team, against a pretty decent center, not an elite center. As you mentioned, they don't have Porzingis in this game, which at least alleviates. And Porzingis, to me, can be a little bit of a sieve defensively at times, but obviously he does give you something offensively. Where do they even go with their bigs tonight, Brady? Like, who do they even have?
Home.
I think they go with Willie Cauley-Stein. I think they would probably plug in somewhere down the line. But I wouldn't be surprised if this is a game where Bam maybe doesn't see as many rebounds, because I feel like they're just going to blitz Luka all night. Like, that's a Spo thing to do. They're going to just probably – I would expect Jimmy to start. I don't know. Looking at last game, they threw Jimmy on Ja to start the game. So, like,
that's true.
They want to get that, out of the way, basically, and then they can kind of move stuff around afterward. But I'd expect a lot of Jimmy and Bam just pressuring Luka, far out on the perimeter. And I probably wouldn't expect Tim Hardaway to have another big game, because – he's going to be the release valve. They're going to try to kick it out, and he's going to have probably a good amount of attempts from three. But like you guys touched on, it's going to come down to the other guys that they can force it out to. But I do see Bam. This is another one of those games where nobody on this team can keep up with them. Like, this is a game where I don't know how that knee's exactly feeling, but this is a game where you get out and run. Like, you get out and run in transition. You're going to see the ball. You're going to get a lot of open lay-ins, and then defensively, you can basically play your favorite play style and just blitz and play freely the whole night.
It's funny you mentioned that they're 28th in the league in offense. Their issue in recent years has been defense, even with Carlisle there. And now this thing is flipped. Does anybody think they upgraded going from Rick Carlisle to Jason Kidd?
No.
Oh, my gosh, no.
No. Jason Kidd is an overrated coach. He's not – I don't think he's that good.
Yeah,
it's
no,
just
Rick
because
Carlisle.
he's Jason Kidd.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Greg. Go ahead.
No. Go. We agree, so you might as well say it.
You guys are agreeing way too much this year. You know what? We need to throw – I need to throw the gauntlet down here. I'm sorry. We're through like 6 games of this thing. What are we at? This is game 7. Have you guys disagreed about anything? Usually,
I'm sure
we'll
we have.
Don't worry. It's a long season.
When's the next game? That's what I look at this.
That's going to be fun, but that'll probably be a Heat win too. But here's the thing.
Oh, my God. I don't even know what to do with you.
Well, it's true. They're better.
We need a new foil.
Nah, you know what it is? I know I've been characterized as the so-called Knicks troll in this network, but the truth is, I've been even-handed this whole time. If I think a team's better, a team's better. Jason Kidd is an overrated coach. He couldn't do anything with the Nets, couldn't do anything with the Bucks. He rode LeBron's coattails to another championship. He's not a good coach. He's Jason Kidd, and that's the reason why he keeps getting chances in this league. You would think he was that's a political statement. Oh,
I know where you're going. Yeah, be careful. I know where you're going. Oh, no, I get it. All right,
he can pass.
All right, but let's look at this though. We've got obviously, this week doesn't look as challenging as we thought maybe, and I know that I may be jinxing this thing. We are having a watch party tonight, so we're probably throwing a wrench in the works. But I mean, to me, this Dallas game is very winnable. I know they've struggled in that building, but it's winnable. Thursday night, I mean, are the Celtics going to actually show up? I'm not sure. I mean,
that's so much fun. They're imploding, and it's beautiful.
Marcus Smart will be in the corner.
Standing there, right? And now Saturday is a challenge. Okay, Utah coming in here for sure is a challenge. And then, we've got Monday, Denver on the road. But those numbers that Zach Lowe put up about the way they're playing without Jokic this year, they're really struggling before they get Murray back. So, again, we talk about this opening stretch of the season. Okay, this is like a murderer's row. It hasn't really played out that way, right, Greg?
No, it hasn't. And even in this Dallas game tonight, as much as it feels like a trap game in certain ways, since the Heat lost the 2011 finals, they're 8-2 in that building. So they've kind of rebounded from the tough Dallas days of playing in that building. So I don't know. I think that Utah, and then what's the one after Utah? There's another one.
Denver on the road.
Denver. See those two, I think, are unique matchups that present unique challenges. Boston, obviously, with those two guys could get hot. But it's interesting the way that the perspective changes. If they lose tonight, I'm interested to see how the fan base reacts if all of a sudden it is a little bit more nerve-wracking heading into this next 3 games.
Yeah, well, again, the perception changes, Jonathan, of the Heat, too, because I think there are a lot of fans around the league who may not have looked at the Heat before the season and are like, oh, God, we got the Heat next because of the way that they're playing right now, right? I mean, if you're some of these teams in the Western Conference, I mean, Dallas to me has to have a top 4, top 5 season just to sort of validate Luka. I mean, you mentioned it. It does remind me a little bit of LeBron early in his career, Ricky. So, I mean, if you're Dallas tonight, what are you trying to get done, Jonathan?
I mean, you still have to try to get the win done, right? You have to show Luka that, hey, we have a team built around you, and if we're going up against a top defensive team, that other guys are going to be able to help you around. Now, like Brady alluded, they're missing a lot of their front court. They're missing Kristaps. They're missing Maxi Kleber. So they're missing a lot of that stretch big that helps spaces the floor for Luka, and that's going to make it really tough on him. But I think for the Dallas Mavericks, you're going to have to come out and you're going to have to make a concerted effort to have, like we said, have the other guys beat you, right? Tim Hardaway Jr., Dorian Finney-Smith, all these other guys are going to have to come in, make an impact, probably shoot better than they usually shoot. But with the addition of Kyle Lowry, we've seen the death of the random scrub heat killer. So I don't think we see that tonight.
Yeah, you're right. The random scrub heat killer has gone away. I don't want to call Tim Hardaway Jr. a random scrub heat killer because that's kind of unfair. But you're right. By the way, Dorian Finney-Smith is a player that the Heat have always really liked. He's a guy who's typically played pretty well against Miami. Interesting stat, though, Greg. I guess I'm sort of poisoned by the fact that I was there in 2010 in the 9-8 game, when the bump gate and all that, and then the next year when LeBron imploded. But also, the Heat have had some good moments there. I was also there when, Alonzo Mourning held the 20-minute press
championship. Yeah,
in the answer to one question in that locker room. So and Jason Williams was spraying us with champagne and saying, "I'm not an effing cancer." So I was in there for that also. Brady, let's go to you as we go around. I mean, I think we're all sort of expecting the Heat win tonight.
They have to.
Makes me nervous, right?
National TV.
Well, okay, let's get to it, Brady. They haven't typically played all that well on national TV in recent years, right? I feel like the national audience is starting to pay attention to them, and again, that makes me nervous too.
Yeah, I mean, it's relevant. I feel like they don't really pay attention, I don't think, to the national thing. I don't think it's a thing that they go into and it adds any extra pressure or anything. It's just coincidental, honestly. But this feels like a game and all that Jimmy comes and plays again. He's rolling right now. As much as we think of shooters and guys like Tyler and Duncan as rhythm players, Jimmy's a rhythm player, and it's not from with his jumper falling. It's just everything coming together as a scorer. And this feels like another game where they don't really have the bodies to throw at a guy like Jimmy, and he can continue to get to the rim. And he can continue to do what he basically wants. And then obviously, I think the Heat win. I think the defense dictates this game. We talked about the numbers, Dallas being 28th in offense, the Heat being number 1 in defense. That stuff matters. And I think Miami, this is going to be a Spo game where they can throw so many guys at Luka and kind of force them into different things.
All right, Jonathan, who do you see tonight?
Yeah, I'm right there with that. Brady made a lot of great points. I think we're going to get it done by double digits. Didn't we play Charlotte on national TV and we blew them out?
True.
Good point.
So,
I
mean,
don't know.
I feel like that.
I don't know if anybody knew that game was going on, but yes.
Fair point. Fair point. It was pretty much over before it started. But I mean, I think with Kyle Lowry comes a level of just confidence in this team, right? Last year, we were going into a lot of these games worried that we'll go into the third quarter with a big lead and then we'll blow the big lead. And then in the fourth quarter, we'll be upset. We'll have a crappy post-game show, right? That was the story of a lot of last year. With Kyle Lowry this year, it seems to be we're a lot more steady. The ship isn't as going in many different directions. We have a path that we're going through. Defensively, it starts right there, right? We have to make sure we keep Luka contained. And I think once after that, it's going to be pretty easy. We're one of the best rebounding teams. They're one of the worst rebounding teams. Like Brady alluded to, they're one of the worst offensive teams. So it shouldn't really be too hard. It's all setting up to be a trap game, but I think we'll get it done. I say we get it done by 15 plus.
All right. Real quick here, Greg and Ricky, because I want to tell people about the watch party before we get out of here.
Yeah, you know who I'm picking, and we opened this show asking who's going to guard Luka. I'm just going to close by saying who the hell's going to guard Jimmy, who's going to guard Tyler, who's going to guard Bam.
Well, Fitty Smith's going to guard Jimmy, right? Probably,
and he's going to get cooked.
Probably. Ricky,
Luka's all alone. He doesn't have the talent or the depth. This game, okay, and it could be anywhere from 3 to 17 points. Roll the ball up. Let's go.
Wide range.
Yeah.
All right. We've got a wide range of seats inside if anybody wants to come. People are going to start showing up here soon. Dangerous Minds. We got the $4 beer specials, as I mentioned. And also, I'm going in right now to order the pizzas. We've got some hats. We've got some shirts. And you can come at some point. Alex will probably arrive sometime in the fourth quarter. You can say hello to Alex right before we pod.
Hey, go in there. Show us how it is.
You need to do some of those on the weekend so everybody else can show up.
Well,
what's up?
Go in there.
Nobody wants us on the weekends because they get their own crowds. We're trying to bring a crowd. That's sort of how this thing works. By the way, our watch party record, we've won 3 of our last 4. Okay? The Heat haven't. We have. I'm just making this point. But this is a spot. It's going to fill up, okay? And we've got lots of room for everybody, but everybody's starting to show up here 7 to 7:30. I'm starting to get the text. So come out tonight if you can. We're going to be broadcasting here, and we'll do the podcast from here as well. And also make sure you catch up with Post Up on 5R with Royal and the crew after the game. Thanks to everybody for joining. And remember, whatever happens with the Heat tonight, they're not the Dolphins. Have a good night.
All right, let's continue with this pregame show. Let's now go ahead and enjoy some of the post-game conferences from 3 nights ago when the Miami Heat beat the Charlotte Hornets, right? Give me a second here. Oh, my God, Ethan. All right. Okay, so thank you again to all of you that are here with us. And here we go. Give me a second, and now we get it started. Here we go.
Yeah, that's well stated. I think he's one of the most unique players in this association for that very reason. He's extremely efficient offensively. He makes the right play, over and over and over. It's not about, trying to stack up stats. He's just making the right plays offensively, to help your team, whether that's scoring or playmaking or facilitating. And then you add, his will and competitiveness to be able to take on, the biggest challenges, in this league, to guard different guys. And that's basically, 1 through 5. And Morant is a heck of a talent, obviously leading the league in scoring, and, a unique player like that, you have to have a unique competitor, at least just to line up against them.
Remember to join us today at Pace and Spaces at halftime. Don't forget to tune in. We're going to be there with Tony, Royal, and Jonathan.
I found that interesting already this year. People on the outside have at times questioned our depth, and we've always felt that our depth is one of our biggest strengths. We look at it totally differently than everybody else, and this was a perfect example of that. One of our all-stars is out, and we have a bunch of different guys step in, and it's not necessarily at that position, but Caleb obviously gave us some good minutes. Dwayne, our front court of Dwayne, Markeith, and PJ really gave us some force and physicality and protect the paint minutes, in those two positions. And they had to do a lot of different things to be able to contain the basketball, to be able to try to always have somebody tracking, an extra guy tracking Morant. And they just did a terrific job, and they all did it in different ways. Yeah, and he's earned everybody's confidence. I mentioned this probably a week ago, that he's been on my mind and the coaching staff, and he's always somebody that we feel like we can easily plug and play. Today he played a lot at the 4, but I feel equally as comfortable, playing him at the 2 or the 3. He's experienced. He fits our style. And he works diligently behind the scenes. So, I always think about what UD says. You always have to stay ready, be ready, so you don't have to get ready. And Caleb is an example of that. Yeah, I never was concerned. As a shooter, you're going to go through, these stretches of a season, and there'll be a few of them in a season. I always remember Ray Allen talking about that he would have like a month-long stretch during the season, no matter how much he worked, no matter how much, that the ball just wouldn't go in, to his standards. And if you're going to be a great shooter in this league, you have to have a quick memory. And I think that's where Duncan has really grown over the years. He just stays assertive, aggressive. I still wish, even in a game like this, I wish he could have gotten 12, 15 up. But he's got some toughness. Everybody's always yelling at him and screaming at him. And if he passes up one, I don't even have to yell at him anymore. It's like the rest of the team is screaming at him, and he takes it in stride, and in some strange way that helps his confidence. Yeah, it's group effort. PJ is one of the best blockout guys in this league, and he was really detailed and intentional with his blockouts, particularly with Adams, and then the group rebounding of everybody else. So we take away our leading rebounder and Bam out this game. We knew that a bunch of other people would have to get involved, and there are a lot of tip balls, long rebounds, but everybody had their hand in it.
All right, we got Tim Reynolds, AP. Go ahead.
Hey, Spo. I can't hear the questions, but I don't think you were asked this. Did you have any preliminary update on what they think Max might have done?
We don't right now, Tim. We'll just have to. I just spent a little bit of time with him in the training room. We'll get to Dallas. We'll see how he feels, and we'll take the next step.
Thank you.
All right, Coach. That's it. Thank you.
Okay, thanks.
All right, that was Eric Spoelstra. I made a mistake. I said it was that win against the Dallas Mavericks. That win was actually against the Memphis Grizzlies. So let's go ahead and read some of your guys' messages, and then let's continue to listen to some of the press conferences. Sean, our friend Sean, is reminding us to join them at Pace and Spaces at halftime on Twitter. So go ahead and enjoy that. As soon as the second quarter is over, go over to Twitter and join them. You can even talk to them a little bit during halftime. Let's go Miami. Miami has too much defense for the Mavs, not Luka, but Mavs. Untangle the headphones. That's for Ethan. Ricky said he's going to win. Now I'm not going to watch a game. Go Heat. On my way from Vegas. Go ahead. Come by. We're going to be waiting for you. Would definitely be an interesting game. Coach Spo's interviews are like music to my ears. Anybody else having an amazing time watching Heat games now? Yes, we are. We are all enjoying these games this season so far. The Miami Heat has 5 wins in the first 6 games of the season, and tonight they face the Dallas Mavericks. Let's continue now. And the next one here on the 5 Reasons YouTube channel is going to be Duncan Robinson. We had some issues with the audio from the journalists that day, so you're not going to be able to hear the actual question, but you will hear what Duncan Robinson had to say. Here he comes. Wait for it, and here we go. Come on, Duncan, say something. Here we go.
Yeah, I mean, I think in years past, he just had to shoulder so much offensively, distributing, scoring, getting other people involved, all sorts of stuff. And, you know, to the point where he really had to like pick and choose and kind of, you know, toggle in and out of those different roles. I think now there's just so much more clarity. Obviously, he's still super unselfish and can play make, but having Kyle just allows him to be his really best version, which you guys are all seeing, obviously. I mean, I always think it's going to go through, but I'm not going to lie to you. I mean, the way I started this year, obviously not up to, you know, what I know I'm capable of. So with that being said, nice to see a couple go, you know, develop some confidence. Not that I'm necessarily lacking it, but just, you know, you go through stretches where you miss shots, you want to see the ball go in. So definitely nice to see it go through. I actually just heard, I'd been like tuning everything out. I just heard before the game what Jimmy had said yesterday. Confronted him about it. I obviously don't agree, but you know, Jimmy's going to be Jimmy. So I mean, when I was there, I don't know where it's at right now, but when I was there, I think Williams was like number 3 or 2 on the Forbes list. Not because of me, but you know, whatever. Like I said, Jimmy's gonna, you know, Jimmy. So. Oh yeah. No, I know it's all love. You know, and sometimes it can maybe not feel that way, but it is. And I know Jimmy has my back at the end of the day, and I know all these guys have my back, and I hope they know that I have theirs. So, you know, when the ball goes up, obviously it's just competition. It's about being there for each other and supporting each other. Yeah, I mean, it's now anytime you go through a stretch where the ball is not going in, and I've had them before. You know, it's frustrating. You know, it's particularly frustrating when you know you're starting out a year and you're starting clean slate, and you know, especially when it's a great thing that the team was winning. But you know, at the same time, you know, I want to feel like I'm doing my part and contributing, and guys are being super unselfish and putting me in situations to be successful, and I didn't feel like I was capitalizing. So. You know, everybody's just always in my ear about continuing to shoot and continue to be aggressive. And like you said, I mean, I don't rely on this, but like the fact that I have built some equity in that, and I think people know my average is not what it has been. And you're going to have stretches where you're shooting the ball well. You're going to have stretches where you're shooting the ball poorly. So just trying to, you know, weather the storm in some respects, you know, just continue to push. So hopefully this will be a more, but no games on.
All right, we got Tim Reynolds, AP. Go ahead.
Dunk, I think you answered this on some level, but Spo said last night the only thing he did wrong was not shoot 15. He said again tonight, you need to shoot more. How is shoot it dunk still a thing at this point? Why do you still need to be told to shoot more?
You know, I don't necessarily feel like I have to be told. I love that they, especially the head coach. Your head coach feels that way, and he's constantly in my ear about being more and more aggressive, and there's no bad shots, and just to let it fly. So it's great to have those people in your corner. A guy like Jimmy yelling at me to shoot the ball, that sort of thing. Kyle telling me to be aggressive. So yeah, for me, it just continues to just unlock the mind and like just go out there, be aggressive, and let it fly.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, Duncan, that's it. Thank you.
All right, thanks.
All right, that was Duncan Robinson after the Miami Heat beat the Memphis Grizzlies on Saturday night. Let's go ahead and listen to the next one. But first, we have updates because we have the starting lineup for the Miami Heat, and it's the same one, the best lineup that they have available. It is Kyle Lowry, Duncan Robinson, Jimmy Butler, PJ Tucker, and Bam Adebayo. It's Kyle Lowry, Duncan Robinson, Jimmy Butler, PJ Tucker, and Bam Adebayo. That's a starting five for the Miami Heat tonight against the Dallas Mavericks. So yes, for all of you that are asking, yes, Bam is good to go. And yes, as you said, Struz will be out. Spoelstra was talking about it just a couple of minutes ago. All right, so let's continue. We have a couple of more videos, and then we'll be ready to roll out and get ready for the game tonight against the Dallas Mavericks. So let's continue. The next one here on the 5 Reasons pregame show will be Jimmy Butler. As I said before, we had some issues with the audio, so we don't have the questions from our journalists down there at FTX Arena. So bear with me because we don't have the questions, but we do have the answers from the players.
Been pretty consistent on the way that I start games. Like I always say, it makes it easier whenever Kyle's the point guard because I get to pick and choose my spots very wisely. He's always looking to get me the ball along with everybody else. Like always, I just take what the game gives me. Yeah, we got a lot of guys that can score the ball. You know that. But we're also picking it up on the defensive end. We set goals for ourselves, obviously before the season, but before each and every game. I feel like everybody's doing that, rebounding the ball well, limiting our turnovers. Guys are just gaining more and more confidence, and that's what this thing is about. Yeah, a little bit. I get to go back to scoring the ball a lot more. It doesn't mean that I can't pass. I still take pride in getting my teammates open as well. But I do get to jack up some shots. I don't think I've shot as many shots as I've shot in the past couple of games in a very long time. But, I think that's what the game asked me. Coaches asked me to do it. Kyle's telling me to be aggressive. Just listening to my guys. When we signed Kyle, I knew I get to get down the floor, take off running, looking for pitch aheads. I knew for a fact he was going to do it for me.
All right, that was Jimmy Butler again. After that game, they won against the Memphis Grizzlies. Our friend Dan is saying we're gonna own the Mavs like how we did back in 2006. Let's see. So we have the last video for today's pregame show. Let's go ahead. The last one for today to finish it off before we go ahead and prepare and get ready for the Dallas Mavericks game is going to be Kyle Lowry. Again, as we said, we don't have the audio from the questions, but we do have the audio from their answers. So bear with me, wait for it, and then we'll have the answer for you. All right? Give me a second. All right, sorry guys, we had some issues with the internet, and so we're not gonna be able to play Kyle Lowry's post-game interview after the Miami Heat beat the Memphis Grizzlies. So we just want to invite you guys again, Pace and Spaces during halftime. So as soon as the second quarter is over, we welcome you to visit our Twitter accounts because we're gonna be rolling there with Sean. We're gonna have some guests, and so you're gonna enjoy it. And right after the game, we have our post-up show hosted by our friend Royal Shepherd, and of course, we're gonna be there as well. As soon as the second half is over, come here to the YouTube channel and be part of that pregame show. So we're gonna end up this. Give me a second here because I'm doing it from the phone. Thank you very much to all of you that joined us. As usual, we really appreciate what you guys do and that you guys come over to hang out with us before the game. And if you want, remember you can always help us sending super chats, and that's very appreciated if you do it. All right. Thank you very much. If you want to follow me, @AlejandroVG32 @AlejandroVG32. That's a way you can follow me and follow all the work we do at Fire Reasons. Thank you very much, and we'll be back sometime soon tonight.